And that's still pretty bad. Ah, now that it's over, and I'm so sick of it being over. Now that it's over. And believe me, let's start every fucking show off with we absolutely curse the whole fucking country of Israel. It's September 26th or something. For 30 years, we've been saying these people suck. They suck. They suck. Just like Americans suck. And like, well, I have no idea. What can I do about it? We can stop paying to kill kids, and it's our fault that we keep paying for it. I'm taking part of that responsibility. We are the true inward nation. You know, the true, what, every white idiot thinks, when they're elevated in their family values, and your whole idea can suck a dick. You know why? It don't work. I finally figured that out. And remember, recover, return, my brothers and sisters. But I finally figured out, God damn, dude. God is an illusion. Family is an illusion. Should I say country? Do we have to say that? And one might say, oh, Mr. Smarty. I'm speaking on, my whole channel is I'm speaking for Maria, and who cares, who takes it serious and who don't. We don't care. But, this is something else than you arguing with me personally about blah, blah, blah. The fact is, America is the reflection of Aleister Crowley, the mirrored Aleister Crowley, and the whole idea of God, family, country is just an illusion, like Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man. I'm so glad I came up with 3. I'm not very well versed in your fucking modern Marvel, internet, Netflix, whatever. I don't even know the shit, Well, I shouldn't say it. Not that I'm censoring myself. I was going to say that it angers me that any of my money goes to these stupid companies like Netflix or whatever. And I don't know why it just came to my mind. There's a lot of music today, but most of it sucks. Like Maria just said, that's the Kali Yuga. If you want the Kali Yuga in my definition, no. And, well, tell all. And she said, and you can suck my pussy if you don't like my definition. She was like, does that sound right? She said, my version is suck a pussy. Sorry. I'm literally choking. Yeah, the Kali Yuga there's 1,000,000 songs and 999 of them, sorry. If I edited, I would edit that out, but as Maria says, we don't have time to edit. We're busy. And this is free, of course. You think we would charge you, brothers and sisters? But we do want you to think about who does. Right, my niggas? Because why does so much music suck? It's unoriginal, and there's not a lot of work being put into it. Literally, I someone can criticize me, but literally my favorite music in the last year is, the Maria Orsic's music, Mo River Dove Returns, which I love. Mo River Dove Return is so good. That's the music channel that all these songs come from. Sister Sita. Literally, to me, that's the best music that's come out in the last year. And me and Maria were getting to a deep discussion earlier about this. Why don't you like that? This is like a imaginary conversation. I really like this song. What do you think? It's okay. Because you like it makes me think a little differently about it. But what I get from the meaning of the words, I don't like. So I can only like it so much. And dude, I've had this conversation a million times. Because a song to me is the words and the music. And as a songwriter, an artist, the key, the essential is for the words. For me, 90% of the time I write the music for a whole song and then apply the words and maybe adjust and arrange the music, But usually the music's done, or the main part of the music is done. So I am trying to let the music dictate the words. You know what I mean? Fit. I want the words to fit the music. But I also, because when I was working on music, I was developing all kinds of new processes of working on songs. But certainly one of my new processes was to listen to the instrumental version of the song. I remember one time forcing myself to just, I make it a rule. I am not going to even try any vocal melodies. I mean, sometimes, I'll tell the exact process for a week. So I put these songs on a CD, and when I was driving to work or driving around and shit, I just listened to them as instrumentals. And not, if something as a vocal started coming to me, I might start humming it or something. But I tried not to, actually. I just tried to listen for a week. Then after a week, I'd put the song on in the studio and start to look at all the words, because I just would write words. Anything that came to me that I thought was worth something. Anything. And I hated my fucking self for not writing some things down and being too lazy to write some things down. So mainly I was doing this at work. And 50% of the days I would forget my little notebooks. And I had these little slips for if people weren't home. So I had 5,000 of these slips that I had written one or two lines on. I would take those home and write them down in a notebook. And sometimes I that was my first filtering. Sometimes I wouldn't write it down, just throw it away. I'd be like, fuck, that sucks, and throw it away. But almost most anything that I thought was good enough to write down while I was working was. I mean, it was, but I was willing. I was willing to throw things away. It was, and if people want to know, this is where Maria says, this is where your intuition is really supposed to be used. What people are trying to do, they're trying to use their intuition where they should be using their psychic abilities, right? So those are two different things. A super great intuition ability to feel emotions and hunches and shit is not necessarily, reflective. And like I said, the power of your intuition is not some equal measure to your psychic abilities. Some people, if you're in this world, this sort of shamanistic psychic world, you will know beyond a doubt there are people with psychic abilities, what we commonly call psychic abilities. And but I'm so far out of the loop. If someone tried to pin me down and say, what do you mean? Like tarot readings? What do you mean? Channeling? What do you mean? I don't, listen, people, I don't do none of that ever. I had one psychic reading when I was 17 years old. I'm 56. Because Maria is really, I was a Christian for one reason. It's completely, totally demonic to every single Christian. Because why? The Bible says so. So you can't mix those things together. I mean, I think it's really fucking a sellout thing to try to mix an evil book with anything else to, gain points socially, economically. This is like the moral stand. The moral stand of Maria Orsic is against the Bible. Why, Joe? Because Abraham's a fucking dick-ass N-word for saying he would kill his son because of a voice told him to. But it was God. Okay, what are you talking about? Oh, I'm talking about the energy of love that is in the air. Then why doesn't it do anything to help children with tumors, dying children? Why can't it ever do a miracle and block like a Palestinian kid from a bomb? Or, I watch people burn alive, and then I will never stop saying, and people are like, that's just how no one's listening to you, and no one gives a fuck. But, for my life's energy, I fucking hate you. And myself, too, for being a Christian. Because you joined the organization that did the worst imaginable things under the sun, admit to it, and are proud of it. You might say, well, they're not proud of it anymore. Bullshit. Only you have ears to hear the words of liars. I no longer hear them. Why? We have the internet. I have headphones. I don't listen to people that my teacher tells me not to. That's just that simple. Oh, I know, because you're just a dumb cult member. There's no cult. There's just the river. There's the people who were here before us, people who have died even. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And real quick, I just want to throw out there, man, people think that the polarity of God is an Aleister Crowley word invented in the modern Bible. Our ancestors didn't believe in God. Our ancestors, let me say it like this, our European ancestors didn't believe in a God. The Asian ancestors didn't believe in God. The African ancestors didn't believe in God. And you might say, well, they believed in the Great Spirit and da-da-da-da. But check this out. If you will live this life, you will understand there is a very fine line between the absolute incredible magic of the God of this world and only this world. He seems like he is God, but that's the whole test. Of course he's not. He's a human being like us. And because you're basing your most important belief on something that is not experienced. Every time I talk to someone and I said, what do you mean by God? They started saying about something else that they haven't experienced. And I say, I'm not trying to be a dick, but our belief is you are that thing over yourself and only yourself. But you're God over you, that all that energy, the love, the destiny, the fate, the connection to higher energy, which is just impersonal electricity. You're just gathering more energy. It's not personal. Unless you think you're chosen. And all of a sudden, this is where Christians get off right there. They're like, yeah, the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is that energy, and it's speaking to me. It gave me a message for you. You know how many times I heard that? Holy Spirit gave me a message for you. And check this out. This is what we're saying. You're under mind control. You're under black magic because it's actually a test. If you will know and remember where you are, how you got here, what made it possible, and also what is the purpose, which would be why at the very end, why did this all happen? And I can hear someone saying, well, you dumb fucking nigger ass Hoosier, you don't know. And that's what I'm saying to you. Like, how dare you judge me and say that it's not possible that people live in another dimension and are able to communicate with us. It's one thing to say it's not possible. It's another thing to say you're just making all this up. And it's all a coincidence. Maria said, you want a definition of coincidence, from Maria Orsic. Magic uncelebrated gets processed in the mind-controlled mind to coincidence. Or, like Maria said, there's really only two choices. And I've had this happen to me. Either that it's a coincidence, or you're evil and you're doing black magic. I'm like, yeah, where's the evidence of that, nigger? And I think that is the proper response to call someone when they accuse you of, like Maria said, in our world, that's the worst thing you could ever say to someone, ever. Worse than, who are you? That's a joke, but it's also not. As we said many times before, the very worst thing you could ever say to someone is, who are you? Depends completely on the context and the tone. And while we're here, I never do this. I don't do it enough. I think I was thanking Sita for the music earlier. I want to thank the plant, Canna Bliss, Mary, Anna, Mary's Donna, Donna's Mary, Mary's Donna, marijuana. I want to thank Dreamer. I want to thank the greatest tree. People, you want to know the tree of life? Naturally, physically, not the symbol, tree of life that you are. The king kratom tree. Yeah, karatiom tree. I love you so much, kratom tree. I wouldn't be here without the kratom tree, because I searched for 13 years for some relief from severe allergies. Only kratom could give it to me. As Maria said, and we'll say it over and over, and like she said, this is her new phrase. Okay, I get you. Suck a pussy if you don't like it. The smartest tree on earth is the kratom tree. And if you don't know and understand that, man, it's a real disrespect to nature. It's like someone that's like, oh, in 2025, oh, you mean marijuana doesn't kill your brain cells? No, idiot. Well, all smoking's bad, though, right? Not really. If anything wasn't bad, totally, completely, it's marijuana. Oh, my God. Yeah, so all those people, you white Christian pussy ass N-word, had locked in prison and did nothing about, or you sat silent and you gave your tax money, and people rotted in cages for having a medicinal plant that you now admit is medicinal. And I want, the listener right now to think about, why would hemp CBD oil ever be made illegal when anyone that's taken CBD knows it doesn't get you high? Why in like 1937 or something would they make hemp as, they say hemp. They say motherfucking hemp is as dangerous as heroin and meth. And it completely doesn't do anything. It has no it has a trace, like a 0.01% THC. No one could ever get high. And they're like, that's as dangerous as everything else. And it literally and people at the time were like, hey, that's the paper company. Hemp don't get you high. Hemp isn't marijuana. They're like, this is made to be made paper. They made this out to be a drug. I curse you, dead America. I'm just, I'm so mad at times and angry. Like, dude, believe me, they're like, I'm just sitting here telling you right now, the is like a document. Like, the only person that really understands what is being said is, I've been saying before, our sister forever, Magic Mindy, the Vietnamese princess, ambassadoress of Vietnam on the astral level. And that's where it counts. That's where it's more real than this world. Only she knows this whole story of how, and like Maria says, that's why you have to calm down. Like, I talk to people, I do this podcast. Some people listen, and it's just crazy how I'm like, Maria, it's supernatural. They cannot hear like the real concept. And at first I thought I was just lacking, just like I'm too far out of communication skills. I used to tell her to, like, I don't know how to say it to where like a person that doesn't practice a little bit of shamanism would know, and people, like, in this astral realm, there's all kinds of things that can happen. And I hate to be, I am not a judge. Like, in my personal life, I know people that practice a sort of shamanism, on all different kinds of levels, microdosing, high dose, and I almost feel like, why do I have to say this? But I just want to, like, say to people, like, my tone in the podcast is like militant and almost angry maybe. But when I meet someone and they tell me their experience, I'm as respectful as I can be, but I can't be inauthentic, right? I can't. I mean, I will be. I will be inauthentic to be polite, but if I thought the person was our people, I would absolutely tell the truth. But many times with my wife, I was like, I didn't want to be stuck there, so let's just be polite so we can leave. Because, there's the gap is too far. There's no bridge that can bridge that, at least in my mind, in that moment. But I mean, sorry, I don't mean to lose the context, but I'm no judge. Like, I know people who practice shamanism. operate on the astral realm, have all kinds of revelations. They have their own thing. And like Mindy said to me, it's different than what's happening to me. I thought I didn't know about this culture, this, sect. I mean, I did, but I didn't because I was a Christian. I stayed away from it, even though I had interest in it when I was very young. And like 20 years passed, I basically studied that stupid ass, I don't even know what to call it anymore, book for 20 years. I mean, it is such a nightmare to think about. If someone said to me, if there was a way without spending so much time in I mean, yeah, of course. It's one big nightmare. I hope you know. I'm trying to be the vessel for Maria to tell you. This is one big magic nightmare. Led by Aleister Crowley, the Masons, Hollywood, the whole economic, but most important, the military, the United States military, is in control of the New World Order. The technology, the brainwashing. And, Maria told me I used to be I am, but I used to be in a different way, a truth researcher. I fell into the whole whistleblower culture, government whistleblowers and shit. And Maria's attitude is there's no whistleblowers to the real apparatus controlling the United States military, and you can trust absolutely nothing or no one coming out of them. And I was like, okay, done. And I used to watch this channel called Project Camelot. It was a whistleblower, government whistleblower, UFOs, underground bases and underground bases are working with aliens, right? That kind of stuff. And she used to have all these government, and Maria, she told me, I do not want you. She's like, listen, you need to concentrate on your own magic and your ability to change reality. And she's like, I'm giving you this one rule. Do not trust anyone from the United States military, and do not listen to their words at all, period. And she said they're mainly the most responsible for the suffering that you and I work at night when you're sleeping, alleviating. I go, damn, it makes sense. And not that it's a culture. It's a CIA process church. And, do I have to say this? I mean, if you're listening to me and you don't know that, you're like, yeah, but some whistleblowers came out to tell us they're evil. You need someone to tell you these people are evil? Go to Gaza. Go to Tibet. Go to Berlin, 1945. Go to Eisenhower's death camp. Go to the Indian concentration camps. Go to the gulags in Russia. These people have killed since like 1917, World War I. The same people have killed like over 100 million people. And people are like, I can't believe you say they ended the world. Well, you're going to watch them, nigger. You can bet that. And you know what? Fuck you if you live long and your world wasn't ended by the death of your child or some crazy fucking thing, and you think God blessed you. And for real, Lou is like, Joe, you have no idea what happens when these people die. He was like, when you die, you will thank me for everything that you lost and for losing everything. And he said, you hear me? For losings. everything. And that's kind of what I'm getting at right now is how, where's the misconception, deception, mind control with the word God come from? It comes from right here. There is something, some people, some of the philosophers, shamans, and some people say, dude, there's something I've seen that can't be described. There's actually no more you can say about it. You could talk about what you thought about when you saw it, but if you can't describe what you saw, you can't. If you can, you can. Some people talk about that, like Maria said. I think I've had that experience, but I'm here to tell regular people it doesn't matter. But this knowledge of this concept of something outside of everything that's beyond description, they're playing off that knowledge in your unconscious and the knowledge that you are God over yourself. And it's three-parted. A lot of people get the first two, right? Something beyond is some knowledge of it could act, experiential knowledge probably is in your unconscious of your own self-experiencing this. It's played off of that, and that the actual fact in nature that your true self, your essence, is a ruler that's all knowing, all loving, all everything that you thought God was, you are and will be. As it is, so be it. And if you say no, you're not, we'll say, okay, as it is, so be it. Get the fuck away from us then. It's like, oh, I find you entertaining, but the essential thing you say, I totally disagree. The Christians are right. God exists. Oh, really? Okay, and tell us, what is God? But the third very important thing that's being played upon as mind control is that you're in a hologram and there is a God who is a man who seems like God over the entire thing. This is, where we differ from other people in our own way. People would say, you're Luciferians. Well, sort of. But do you, as a fellow Luciferian, do you believe that Lucifer is Allah and that Allah is Shiva and that Shiva is Robin Hood and Robin Hood is Obi-Wan Kenobi and Obi-Wan Kenobi is Odin? And they're like, what do you mean? What I mean is the God that I'm talking about, the man I'm talking about, is the author. Do you hear me? Author. Author. Hathor. Author. Hathor, the author. The of Thor. Of all those characters. Well, how could that be? You're in a magic simulation because of him. You're in a hologram. It's not like the others on Venus. Not at all. Way. Nigga, let me tell you how different this simulation is. And nigga, let me tell you why. His name is Luiz. Saint Santa Luiz. You're like, that sounds Christian. Because he's the author of the Christian slaughter genocide. So that he could be the witness in a trial. Who's really evil, you motherfuckers? Who's really evil, you murderers? I was telling someone else. I guess it's a coincidence that the great founder of the law was a murderer. He said he went out seeing like some Egyptian doing something. He killed him. It doesn't seem to faze anyone. They're like, Yeah, the people in the Bible do bad things just like we do. Not me, motherfucker. I don't kill people. I've never wanted to kill someone. You have to, stand up for yourself at one point and be like, are you kidding? I don't identify with murderers. And yet, the sort of polarity is we're in a war right now, a mind war to the death. And it's frightening. It literally is frightening. But it's all an illusion at the same time. And it's no problem for me to talk about this because I've been talking about this for 14 years of Maria telling me it literally started when she was the Missouri River goddess. And her saying, I have a god. His name is Adolf Hitler. I'm like, what? And then, she let me think about that for a while. She's like, get his books, get his words. You need to hear what he says. Very important book is the book that his childhood friend wrote about him. They lived together. I think Hitler was from the age of 15 to 17. Or it might have been I don't know. Maybe that's too young. Maybe it was 17 to 19. But it's a great book. It's an eyewitness. He was Hitler's fucking roommate. And it's a very interesting, it's not a boring read at all. It's very interesting. Two teenagers living together. The author, his dad was a furniture maker in Vienna. Yeah. So, I think Hitler looked Maria up for one reason definitely she had told me herself was her dad, Tommy. She calls him Tommy. And she said they all knew each other, like the Thule Society, the Thule Society. And Maria's dad was an actual total leader, president, master of the SS in Vienna in Austria. Not the entire thing, but the spiritual initiation. They had a certain, higher up spiritual course education, which ended, like she said, in an initiation. Like she said, Joe, on one way, when I was 12 years old, I was acting out what I seen my father, whom I so respected. She was like, my mother puzzled me because I thought she could be so much more. But my father awed me, and I didn't know what the hell he was, who he was. and she said he would teach me. He was teaching me magic and teaching me to do a ritual. She said it started when I was 9 or 10 years old. He started telling me Maria, you think about spiritual things? She said we had our own words, not spiritual. And like she said, we had this little clubhouse, tree house. Literally, she said it was like a tree house. It had a bottom tree house, and you climbed on top of that and went into another smaller literal house in the tree. And she said my friends would be like, oh, can we play in this? And she said, my dad built another thing for us to play in. And I would be like, no, 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 don't touch this. Like, this is all for my dad's magic. And she said, I knew he felt bad, that we couldn't play in it. But she said, like, I was super young. And he, wanted to tell me why, And she said he waited. She said I was probably like 6 or 7 then. And she said when I was like 9 or 10, he started to. He said it was a Sunday morning. She said, and she said every once in a while my dad would be like, Maria's not going to church today. Like me and Maria are staying home. We're gonna have father-daughter time, and I will give the sermon this Sunday. You go ahead. You and like she said, I had the most respect. My mom was a super, super powerful witch, but we didn't totally. We weren't twins. We were close, but she was like, there was a little something in me that was like, I'm not you. And with Sig, I was like, I'm you. And Sig was like, that's funny, because I'm you. Hold it. You're me? Yeah. That's great news. Because I wanted to be you. I know. I think you're cool. She said, this is the kind of conversations we had when we were 13. And she said, like, we also had our conversations of, would people think we're crazy? I mean, are other 2 girls doing the things we're doing? And she said, believe it, Joe, we were so young, we really didn't know. We didn't have any data of like, I wonder how the other girls are, dealing with these sex drive feelings, this libido feelings, I wonder what they're doing. She said, believe me, we had our own crude jokes about what might be going on. And she said, believe it, in the locker room of school. And she said, you got to remember, I pretty much didn't go to a regular school with other girls. She said, before I was 15. So she said, I was sort of just becoming a woman. When, then I went to like the dance school, which only had like 30 students in the whole school. And she was like, that's why I love my mother so much. What would I have done for money if she wouldn't have put me in this dance school, which qualified me for like a scholarship to like a dance academy, university really that teaches you to be a teacher, She's like, that's what I did. I spent 3 years there. And I was a most qualified teacher. And she said, like I said, I did some dancing work in shows, ballet, even sort of the new Berlin Hollywood style. Sort of like, you would say, like showgirls. But she said, like, a lot more conservative than 2011. But she was like, it was either one or the other. Like, do that full time and make a living, or really become a teacher. Because I began very, like, mixing the ritual with dance. I was like, yeah, I can tell. I mean, see, back when I was in the initiation, like doing, 3-4 grams every week, 5 even. I mean, there was a lot of times where she was like, just lay down and try to watch me dance. And it was like the most beautiful, like shamanistic ballet. And some of it was before I knew she was Maria. And I literally told my wife, crazy. She don't hear anything I say. But totally not knowing anything about Maria. Like, this was like my second ritual and her first, because even after maybe my third and her first, I can't remember exactly, but after being a Christian and a Rasta for 20 years or 18 years or something, after I did this, seen this magic marriage, met my friend, met my ancestors, and they told me all this stuff about myself, told me I was living in an illusionary techno world. I told my wife, like, if you don't do this, you're going to think I'm completely crazy. So I kind of believe it wasn't the next week, but the next one after that. Because she works Sunday mornings. So she had to take off work, right? Yeah. And this is kind of how this is how I would leave my body. Me and her would be dancing to mainly like trance, upbeat music. With all our even in the beginning, we had these. It was kind of interesting, but like what we were listening to before I really knew what we were doing. The first two, mainly, very kind of interesting. But the very first, and I would know she was in the room as the mushrooms were like kind of taking effect. This is my sort of natural psychic ability. Like, I knew she was there, but I couldn't see her, couldn't hear her yet. And then I could hear her. As the mushrooms took more effect, I could hear her, and she's like, "Can you hear me, Joe? I'm your mother. I'm the one that told you to do this." This was the very first ritual. She's like, "Don't worry. Have no fear. Do not fear. Like, I'm with you. You can do this. Like, just dance and let the mushrooms go through your body." The very first two. And later on, too. I mean, I've done this like 600 times with her. After a while, she'd be telling me as we're dancing, like, when you feel like you can't really dance no more and you feel like you should just lay down, do it. Just lay down, close your eyes, and just relax like you're going to sleep. And I'll do the rest. I promise. All right? And I would be like, all right, I think I need to lay down. I would lay down, and this is when she would be like, concentrate on me and watch me dance. And it would just be so beautiful. So beautiful, like ballet. But it was faster than, it was like a hyped up ballet. and I can't even tell you how much it helped me. It's just incredible. And this is actually what would help me leave my body. And like all of a sudden in my vision, I'd start seeing like colors and geometry and, with my eyes closed. And it was like I was traveling. It'd be like I was traveling. And I remember the first three beginnings to the first three. The first one, like I've said, was my friend had died. The second was the Star Wars. And the third one was I was in my cat's body running along the woods. And this is when I really, I'll never forget this moment. I'll never you know, this is when the first time really seen the Missouri River goddess, like face to face, like in the bright sunlight. And she had like the flowing, like Greek goddess, clothes. And people would think I was lying, but I was running in the cat, but I was me. I swear to God, I looked, I was like, oh my God, that must be the Missouri River goddess. Because she was out like on the rocks, like there's like rock bars, but they go out. And she was like standing, so I would have to go down maybe like, 50 feet in, so the river was completely flowing around her. No lie, my very first thought was, wow, look at her hair. Look at all that hair. And, dude, I was in the cat's body. And it takes a cat a lot longer than a person, because their legs are so small, I guess. And, like, I ran right up to her. And it was just crazy. It was like I never was the cat. And I was just all of a sudden just standing there. And I was like, oh my God. I go, oh my God, I can't believe this. And she's like, I'm your goddess, the Missouri River goddess. That's why you live where you live. Referencing the very first night we ever met on my birthday. Re-met. Which I talk about, I won't repeat. But that's the very first time I ever heard from the Missouri River goddess, was on the morning of my birthday. And I literally said, the only thing I could say, because I wasn't the cat, I was just a man. And it was like the river is always pretty windy. So it was like blowing her. She had some, almost, some kind of, almost like a Muslim, like the thing was like on her head going down, like kind of like a veil that was pushed back, but not a veil necessarily. And but all her hair was out of the front of it, like down her chest, And no lie, I couldn't get out anything else but your hair. No lie. Like Maria said, these are the classic moments the parent loves, of her child. Right, mama. Real to you, mama. Let's just love Maria and much real heart energy to Maria right now. The all-time most beautiful mother goddess, Scorpio, goddess of sex, death, and life, and magic. You may say what you may. But she's my mother. She's my goddess. Because, as she explained to me later on these rocks, that it's not your choice. The gods weren't asking you anything because they know how inauthentic people are. She laid this right out to me. 30 seconds went, oh, well, maybe I'll just talk about the conversation right now. It's the first time I ever met her. She said, I'm your goddess. And I said, your hair. No lie. I was like, oh my God, I'm so thankful to you. I go, I'm so glad I did this. This is the third time. Third ritual. I was like, oh my God, I feel like you saved my life. And she was like, what are friends for? And I was like, I thought to myself, we're friends? And she was like, she read my mind. She heard me. She was like, I'm your goddess. She was like, it sounds like a dumb word, doesn't it? Goddess. She said, but it means something where we come from. She said, let me tell you what it means. It means that I am a little more powerful than you. She said, and what does that mean? Psychic abilities, mind power. And she said, I said a little. I'm not saying a lot. And I was like, huh? No shit. And she was like, and in this world right here, because I am the river, I'm a lot smarter than you in how to operate in an illusion, in a world of samsara, maya. And I was like, wow, she's fucking serious that reality is an illusion. And like, she read my mind. She was like, I'm here to prove it to you. Absolutely. Why? Because I love you. You're my son. I love you. She said, do you know why I say these things and I don't say them to other people? She said, let's get everything clear now. I'm only dealing with a few people who live along the river. She said, I'll tell you right now, I know you. I know who you were before you came here. And of all the people I've been dealing with, you have the most natural psychic ability to do exactly what I need you to do. And I was like, what is that? And she's like, just be the vessel. And she's like, this is all possible because I already know you. I'm your teacher back home. More than that even. I'm your mother. She was like, do you want to know why? I said, yes. She said, because your astrology, because your moon is in Scorpio. And your Venus is in Gemini. It gives a like twin astral, as above, so below, eternal true love, which you thought you had for God, which what you really had was for me, a goddess. She was making that clear. You're not dumb. God don't exist. We exist. I was like, exactly, because I had learned that. If there was one thing I had learned, it was that. And she said to me, I am your goddess, she said, because your idea of beauty is Scorpio. I am the new astrological goddess of Scorpio. She was like, it's your vibration that makes you see me as the most beautiful woman ever. And I was like, it's totally true. And she's like, I only say that because that's what the computers say back home. But now we know that experientially. And I was like, huh? And she's like, Joe. For real. From the very beginning, she was always just calling me Joe. Joe. She said, I'm your goddess and I'm your mother. And she said all those things that Freud said about the mother as the object of the child. She said those are all twisted on the real truth that your eternal mother, teacher, who loves you like no other, is who you think is most beautiful. And she said to me, everything that's happened to you on that level, like sexual attraction, is you were seeing me in them. And I was like, oh my God, that's absolutely true. And I had, at that time, I had no clue about Maria being left-handed and my wife is left-handed. And just a whole ritual about how something beyond even my thought was attracted to left-handed way that a woman who's left-handed like walks different, moves different. Her whole body moves different. I tell Mindy, she's a Scorpio sun. I said, "Do you stand like Maria?" Because now I've been seeing Maria almost every day. I tell her, dude, it's so crazy how Scorpio, how real, like you and Maria. I mean, she's in another fucking world. You're here and you stand like her. She moves her hair back like you do, or you act like you move like her, right? My wife, Joey, is a Capricorn, right? Like Maria said, oh, you might think that's different. You think a scorpion and a fucking goat-headed mermaid, they got a lot in common, nigga. More than you think. And she was like that, like crazy woman-headed horse with the magic hooves and shit and the magic tail. In between us, you have the Scorpio, the magic woman centaur horse, and the goat-headed mermaid. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck does that really mean? She's like, we're going to embark on a lifelong journey to explain it, JoJo. It's called life. I'm like, huh? Ain't no lie. I swear, there's no reason to lie. It's just unreal. It's weird. I mean, I never thought about, what it really was about my wife. Like at the time, if someone just asked me, just flat out, I mean, who you think's the most beautiful woman you know right now? I'd be like, Joey. And dude, it had a big giant something to do with her being left-handed. Because at the time, I would have tried to explain like how I had this moment of watching her walk, seeing her walking, like the shape of her legs and the shape of her body. Maria's like, no, it's not so much that, it's the left-handedness, how she holds her body. I go, no, you're right. And she's like, see, the left-handedness is what's caused her legs to be this way, sort of. I go, goatish. And she's like, yeah, like the, most sexy, horny goat. That's what she's, because of the plant. We had lots of laughs along the way. Believe me, my brothers and sisters, find intuitively. Try to get in touch with yourself. Find like some, astrology site that, you feel in some way. Just try to do something to figure it. I mean, there's so many. I like one called Cafe Astrology. Or is it called Astrology Cafe? I can't remember. Because Maria told me to stop looking at it. But I'm talking about getting a birth chart. Everyone needs to read their birth chart. It's one thing to, horoscope. But it's another thing. What I was going to say is, it's one thing not to believe you are the universe, especially in a hologram. Check this out. You know why you don't have to consult your astrology every day? You have the whole universe in a tiny chip, a tiny fragment is the whole thing, because it's called a hologram. That's what a hologram is. If we're in a hologram, you have the sun, the moon, the stars, the whole thing in you. I asked someone recently, because they were saying God is energy and da da da. Well, is that also true in a holographic illusion? And you're telling me this God that won't do anything to help kids, even in a holographic illusion, won't help kids. Let alone me. I want motherfucking help myself, please. Oh, only for the chosen, huh? You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind a little miracle in my back to deal with my pain. But, dude, no one hears you praying. No one hears you praying. Sad to tell you. But someone's got to tell you, nigga. People like, you don't know. I fasted and prayed. I bet more than you did. I have a degree in Bible counseling from a biblical-based Bible college. Bible-based Bible college. Scripture only. It was like Baptist scripture only kind of non-denominational thing. They're like, we're not into the weird speaking in tongue shit. Okay, check this out. Right, so let's kind of summarize. My whole point on that little musical journey was to show this incredible revelation that everything I was saying is part of this incredible revelation of what's really going on. What's going on? What's really going on? And it's rude in a way, but what the fuck? I mean, everything else under the sun will be talked about. And it's almost hard. It's not almost. Look at me. I just want to censor everything. It's heartbreaking for me to see people trying to save America. Like, I had someone tell me, like, they just want to help veterans and support the troops. And I just want to throw up. I want to stop them. Yeah, and she's absolutely, totally has her heart in the right place. Almost anyone to join the military is a victim, but at the same time, they obeyed orders and went and harmed people's children and killed. I don't even care if it's a child anymore. Old man, I'm 56 years old. What do you think? I don't count to myself? I have a Palestinian friend. He's like almost 80. I hate to say it. In my mind, he's as valuable to me as a kid. I love him the same, And the fact is, these people in our day, no matter how dumb they were, they knew they were joining a death cult, death machine, and probably harmed other people's kids. And I support the victims of the troops. I support the victims of the troops. I curse the fucking troops with real energy to stop what you're doing. You're an individual person, disobey orders and go to jail. Then you'll be noble. Okay? You're in the military. Somehow you got this. Disobey orders. Take the jail sentence. Go to jail. Come out. Get a hold of us. We'll help you. I didn't say I wouldn't help somebody. I'm not taking my fucking most important decisions from the most obvious evil motherfucking institution that's ever existed in my life. Like Maria says, they say Nazis. You guys should say troops. Like, you should be saying that. How they call people Nazis, we should be calling U.S. troops that. They are genocidal. They killed millions of people in Iraq, Afghanistan, all over Europe too. And now they have contractors that we're paying for you. I mean, it's just, dude, I'm leaving. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Literally, on one level, like, what I care. I would do anything to change some people's minds. Like, dude, we have to get out of here. And like the energy of like, that's impossible and we can't. Dude, it's crazy. But if you have faith in a memory of the future, I believe anything's possible. I don't want to live like without electricity necessarily, but I will. Look at how fake everything is. Live free or die. Are you fucking kidding? We'd all be dead, right? If we really live by that, are we free in America? I mean, goddamn, dude, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of myself. I'm like Maria said, we're sort of just documenting the time. Like sooner or later, I suppose we're gonna switch into writing. And I told Maria, as much as people don't like the podcast, they probably won't like the book. And she's like, well, remember, every time you lose in this world, you win in another, the one that counts. Yeah. Lana. Yeah, so, War on Yahweh was about war. Okay, now that I understand it, Yahweh is this mythological ancient god resurrected mainly by the Kabbalist as a fictional character. Again, we cannot fucking miss this. Crowley, in his quest for knowledge, became the Maria said, I really want you to say that. He became the astral butt boy of these 18th century Kabbalists. Do you hear me? Nigga, do you hear me? This is what Maria Orsic teaches. This is why she hates Manly P. Hall and certain people. She hates them because why? They're hurting children. Oh, come on. Like, believe me, I feel like I'm talking to no one, so it don't it doesn't matter. But this is a story for the record and for my own records for writing later, which I hope to get to. He was young. She said, I know the story because it's well known on Venus. He's put it out himself. He was, like she said, I contacted Donna, Queen of Atlantis. He contacted 18th century Kabbalists who had pretty much recently died compared to, ancient gods and shit. And they had a plan. And like Maria's new phrase, suck a pussy if you don't like it. The plan was that no nations and nothing mattered. What mattered was the image, the marketing, the selling point, the brand. And that they could use the British Empire brand, but they also had to put it undercover in America and make it look like two opposing polarities. I say people at work, why the fuck we always on the side of the British? Oh, they're our main allies. Hey, dude, dumb fucking Christian Republican. Why does that make so much sense to you? Our fucking forefathers died in the fields of Maryland and Virginia and shit fighting the British. Oh. Don't matter because money's all that matters is you cunts. I curse America every fucking day. Fuck you, fuck your community, fuck your fucking America, fuck your churches, everything. You know, you know, I hope, and for like legal sake, I'm not saying for anyone to do this, but I hope one day that nature burns down every single last Christian church, every Catholic church. But some of them are so beautiful. Not to me, nigger. I look at that beauty at the cost of my ancestors. The misery they felt from losing their children. The misery a husband felt for watching his wife tortured and murdered. Forgive you people? Never. Ever. Ever. And the people that compromise with them, the same to them. The Rastafarians, they have algorithm. Rastafarians have a motto, a slogan. Death to black and white oppressors. Who would disagree with that? Huh? Oh, you want to buddy up with them. Compromise with them. Like, well, it wasn't the real Christians in the Catholic Church that killed like 35, 40 million people. Oh, then who was it? And where was Jesus? Sucking his own cock? Like Maria said, because he don't suck pussy, he's gay. And not to disparage gay men, go for it, suck each other off till kingdom come. Literally. That's a Maria Orsic humor right there. Till kingdom come. That was good. If anyone understands our podcast, you should really view our podcast. Just listen in a row. Listen to all the shows in a row, but listen and say, hey, I have a crazy... What's the fucking truth on reincarnation? Or what's the truth on my ancestors? Or check this out. Should I get a job tomorrow? Should I take the job that's being offered me tomorrow? May this podcast somehow, some way, show me yes or no. If he talks about this, then yes. If he talks about that, then no. Like wild shit. Like, if he brings up Leo, I'll take the job. If he doesn't, then I won't. You got to make it magic. Like Maria said, these pussies won't even come and test us. I was like, I know, mother. I told my friend, I said, dude, you got to forgive me, man. He's black, and I'm white. But we worked together so long. Look, I was doing it on accident. We used to work together so long. I'm like, I know I might sound like I'm talking like a slave because we are slaves. He was like, yeah, I know, massa. Dude, and the coolest black people in America are like, I know, how can anyone be mad at other people if they were working as hard as we were? You have no life to hate it. Like, I told my friend, I go, dude, if there was a cross burning tonight, I would sleep right through it. I'm too tired from working. I was telling him I wanted to do like a skit, like a parody skit, like working too hard to be racist. Like worked the racism out of people. And it's like, man, I'm too tired to fucking lynch anybody. You're like, you hear that white girl's dating that black dude down there? Like, man, I'm just too fucking tired. Just let them fuck. I gotta get up for work in the morning. Hey, honkies, I gotta get up and work in the morning, we're gonna fucking kill these people or what? We ain't got all night. Gotta get these niggers. I mean, this is the world we fucking live in? I mean, if you're a racist like that in this world that you're riding around right now and going, black people are animals, what are white people then? Aliens? Worse than I mean, so what do you call human then? You're like, well, humans, they kill their own people, torture their own people, enslave their own people. Like, well, how are we better then? Quit asking questions and shut up. Quit smoking weed. I find it very interesting, like white supremacists and Christians don't like weed. Like anything hippie. Oh, that's hip. What's up with that? Sorry. Like Maria said, let's drive some of the last listeners away with goofiness. But we want to send out some energy to some of our brothers and sisters, like Brother Matt, who just when I think about him, I know we're still connected. And when I think about him, I hear him saying, truth be told. That was kind of his motto, So we got death to black and white oppressors tonight. Truth be told. Maria's like, mine as it is, so be it, let it be. My nigga. I was like, they really said that in Vienna. She was like, we never heard that word in our life. She's like, I didn't hear that word until probably the 70s. And she's like, I didn't live on earth, but I've always been, like she says, you tell the people, I'm a spiritual nurse. I'm a spiritual nurse. She's like, we don't say spiritual, a real nurse. I swear, I don't know if I've ever said this, and, curse me if you think this is a sin, if you think it's crude. Fuck you. Tune out. But after not seeing Siggy, and we're talking about Vril, right? I seen Siggy and creating a better, happier vibration with it. After years of not seeing Siggy Sig, who's got darker hair than Maria, and if you knew them, you would never think they were twins or anything like that. Clearly, they look kind of similar, but clearly Maria's Maria and Sig is Sig. Sig to me has a little more Eastern European look, just a little, and Maria has a little more sort of, like almost Swedish, Norwegian, Nordic, you know what I mean? But I totally see that, like she said, I really think Austria is the Missouri of Europe. Because she does kind of look in the middle of the sort of, she's so blonde, though you can see through her, and she, at times she's almost blue because her skin is so thin and like translucent. And she said, but you like that, right, Joe? I said, yeah, I love that. That's a joke. That's a joke, I guess an inside joke between me and her, but like she said, I don't spend a lot of time sunbathing on Venus. She's like, I spend some. She's like, you don't necessarily get tan if you don't want to. She's like, but you know what I do? She's like, how long, Joseph, have I spent the afternoons dancing? I said, and when she said that, I instinctually fucking said to her, why don't I do that? What the fuck is wrong with me? She's like, because I don't want to go into why. It's not funny, actually, for me, but I don't want to, And I don't know why all of a sudden, just like Maria said this, it's so real. It's like, it just keeps coming back to me. There's a song, it's like, working for the British pound note. We're going from 8 till 5. What's that? Oh, I said pity the poor. Pot to cook, but food's not enough. Yeah, I said pity the poor. Yeah, I miss a pity the poor. It's like, that's exactly what I was saying. Like, it's, you know, too tired to be racist because you work too hard. But it's real. I mean, goddamn. If you're gonna have, I don't know what I'm talking, where I'm, but I was just gonna say, like, let's get in context. Let's get motherfucking context, right? Because I haven't been really releasing the. It's interesting how the talks are being recorded and released. It's all Maria. Like, we're in an interesting series of talks. Like, we are not Nazis. Those are in a chronological order. And then Maria Orsic 555. The beauty speaks. 555, the beauty. It's the beauty versus the beast. And believe it, the beast is already lost. And earlier today, I had someone. Well, actually, I was asking her about a video, my sweet sister, whom I love so much, about this person she was interviewing about, and I felt bad, but it's not, it's completely common with me because I'm so concentrated on doing this for Maria. I listen to things 6 hours a day. Like, I've listened to every book I ever wanted. I've listened to just everything under the fucking sun. Shit I didn't even want to listen to. I've heard a million whistleblowers and shit. And I remember this, it's crazy because I was more distracted by wanting to hear her voice because I like her. And for the life of me, I just could not even remember. I just remembered like I was hunting or something, and this lady's like appearing to him, and this is the only thing I can remember. Only thing that was sticking in my mind is Maria Orsic saying to me, "Don't trust any of these whistleblowers from the United States." For years, 5 years before this. And me just wondering, like, what's the essence of this? Like, I love this sister, and then I started seeing like this was kind of the main person, and I'm like, as much as I love you, like, all of a sudden it's quickly come to like, I'm gonna have to disobey Maria, and I maybe have a bad attitude. But I just felt like I think this is something I already know, or I'm already aware. All the faith was sucked out of me because Maria told me don't listen to these people 5 years previous. But, like Maria said, there's one person in this world you'll just absolutely automatically do whatever you want for. Disobey me. And like, I did listen to the whole thing, and I think, or nearly at least, and I just remember, like, what is the essence of this? Like, I'm not getting. It was like some information that sounded, just like Maria, but I wasn't getting. We're in a hologram. Nothing is real. I was getting more of like everything's real, and these people are controlling what's real. Like, no, this is where I just came from. It's it's I just don't I don't even want to go back. I don't want to go there into the whistleblower conspiracy world. I'm done. I was, people in that world probably know, and you know why I'm done. I think you know why I'm done. These people aren't interested in the truth. They're not interested in the truth about World War II. And that's what I am. So they're not interested in my central core of Maria Orsic or the truth about what really happened. So, as Maria would say, suck a pussy. And that don't mean I'm mad or nothing against her. I was that. That's why I'm mad. Because I was deep in that. And before I ever met this girl, this, whistleblower, like conspiracy site, disclosure site, what's her name? I can't even remember her name now after I listened to her for 12. That's how insignificant she really is. Project Camelot is a channel. It's always been her channel. And I'm still grateful for the things she did teach me. But they were minuscule compared to what Maria taught me. Because why? Because the United States military is completely, totally controlled even the whistleblowers. If not, they wouldn't be blowing a whistle. The one kid that really blew the whistle, they put him in a fucking mental institution, tortured him. What whistle, Joe? That the United States military created the anthrax that killed the postal workers on 9/11. Huh? They jailed and tortured and put in a mental institution the kid who had the evidence that the United States military created the anthrax that killed the postal workers on right a couple days after 9/11, 2001. No one cares because they were just poor peon postal workers. Right? You'll never hear anything about them because they don't want you to hear anything about anthrax being made by people in a cave to have no chemistry. And it just makes me rage and hatred of the people that do believe the stupid nonsense that you're the fucking reason we're all suffering because you're so stupid. You side with people like them instead of people like us. And because these whistleblower people are, just there's no power behind it. There's no unity, leadership. There's just nothing. There's nothing there but the same story of like the government's a monster, it's in control of everything, and the technology, and yeah, we know. Now what, nigga? And someone like me says, yeah, we know, because reality is an illusion. Oh, we don't like that. We don't agree with you. Well, maybe, but maybe not. Blah, 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 blah. And do you believe in God? And blah, 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 blah. And you're an atheist. That's one thing. Remember we talked earlier, we said we're going to really dismantle the false polarity of I believe in God and I'm an atheist. Anyone out there that calls themselves an atheist, you're just completely a mirror of the Christians who believe in God. By saying I'm against theism means you're part of that club. Like Maria said, what's a fucking theism? Theist. And it's just a controlled polarity. False polarity. Check this out. How do I know that? Like Maria said, our ancestors didn't believe in God. As I was saying earlier. This is exactly from the mouth of Maria in 2011. We're going to destroy the whole mind control of God. It's the thing that some people read about, some people experience. It's beyond all description. End of story. But that's being used in your unconscious mixed with what? Dog backwards. God backwards is dog. And when I say dog, most people's like my best friend. Man's best friend. Dog is man's best friend. Dog is man's best friend. Dog is what? God. God's my best friend. Although he lets my kid die. God's my best friend. He allowed an accident that killed my wife. God's my best friend. Kids and gods are burning to death. God's never did anything. I prayed my whole life. Every answer was no, except for the very shallow things. Like, may my kid get into this university? Oh, he answered that, but the next door neighbor's kid with a tumor, he said no. And you believe in that God because you're a cunt. And that's our job, to come and tell people, we figured out you're authentically a fake ass cunt. And like Maria said, was it worth it, Joseph? I said, yeah. I said, every cunt revealed is worth it. She said, no matter what the price, no matter what, because shit, isn't that the answer? The answer is a community, yeah, of authentic people. Right. And our ancestors didn't believe in God. What do you mean? Every time I say, what do you mean? They say, well, I don't mean he or she. I mean, it's like this collective unconscious. Oh, so it is a collective unconscious. Well, no wonder it can't do anything. Collective unconscious of a mixed bag of fucking weirdos. Everything from nuclear scientists to fucking, child raping heroin addicts. I don't know how to get lower. Fentanyl. I don't even know how to talk like that, really. I struggle. When I get really mad, instead of saying something funny to make fun of a person, like usually what I say don't make sense. And later it's almost funny, but it's so embarrassing that it's funny. But on the road to the apocalypse, on the road to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the book of Revelation, this is Lou's specialty of basically giving Aleister Crowley, free reins in this time of overtime after the physical world has ended, and gave him, really, like Lou said, I'm the one to give him the idea for the book of Revelation. People like, hey, I studied the tablets and the fucking oldest, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Either you believe you're in a holographic simulation or you don't. It's been proven to you if you don't. Nothing I'm going to say, if you don't think we're in a hologram, then tune out. It's not going to make any sense. It's all a grand illusion that was thought up as a sort of collective with these dead 18th century Kabbalists. Happen to be a lot of Jews, all Jews. And they were like, hey, Mr. Crowley, we will teach you what we know, but we want to be the trickster gods, and we want you to say that you are us, that Britain are the Jews. We don't want to be the victims anymore. We want to be the big bully that the British Empire always was, the murderous, horrible bully that it always was. And this was when Crowley was pretty young, in his 20s. And this sort of culminated in the book of the law, in the pyramid, if that's even true. But what's true is the book of the law. Read it. What's it about? Human sacrifice for power and control over the slaves. Let's say it again, class. Aleister Crowley's book of the law is about how to use human sacrifice as black magic to control the human race, all countries, all nations, peoples, religions, as a new world order. And because, and like Maria said, this was perfected as the rounds. Okay, this was the first time reality, but this was perfected even better and better in the rounds of the holographic matrix. And they came up with, because they knew these are very, very, very magic people. They knew that Zion, right? Z-I-1, C-I as one, Zion, C-I as one love culture, right here. And play on that word, right? And they created not Crowley all by himself, but him as the central young Messiah. Because why? Did he have to be British? Yes. Did he have to be Jewish? No. Why? Because what I just told you, this is the new Kabbalist magic. Can we switch identities with the British Empire, the most powerful empire? How do we know that? Because it's secretly got America under control. How do we know that? Aleister Crowley's doing it through the Masonic lodges. In a whole magical plan to invent this new, or not even invent, but come forth when invented, this new media known as radio and TV, but mainly TV, right? And they knew one day that they could capture the world through music, through the theater, movies, and just through radio, the telling of stories and the broadcasting of news, And like Maria said, either you believe we're in an illusion or not. But to remote review an illusion is not our way. It's not personal enough. Our way is the intent to know and know for sure if I'm God over me, or if I'm being controlled by, and I was created by God. And I can hear Maria say, "What's that?" I don't know. Your dog? I've been in a conversation with a few people. I was thinking of one specific time where a person kept saying to me over and over, "But Joe, you do believe in God, right?" And I said, "I'm not an atheist." I said, "What's that mean to you, that you believe in God?" I said, "I don't believe in a Bible God." They're like, "What?" And they're like, "What about just God, God?" I said, "That's from the Bible, right?" I said, "Did the Buddhists talk about God? Did the Hindus talk about God?" The Hindus, because they know the world's all about money, they're like, yeah, in our myth that's completely fake, it's meant to teach you. We say Brahman's God. but you read it and you're like, this is not at all what the Christians and Jews are talking about. They're like, let's just act like it is for business. We believe in God. And like Maria said, I hate that type of person. I'm fucking sick of it. You fucking pussy. Suck a pussy. From Maria Orsic, those who want to use the word dog, she said, listen, when you use the word God like that, you're blaspheming your best friend, your pet, your real pet. If you really loved them, you wouldn't say God. I was like, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And in the Zionist story, there had to be a whole new religion to a, and it had to be built on the same sort of deception. Just like the real Jew in World War II was the British were chosen to kill everyone at whatever expense to take over the world. Because that's straight out of the Bible. And the real Jew that was already calling himself Jewish, and the whole kind of culture of the actual Jewish religion that is its own whole giant story of, this is where the Kabbalists of the 18th century that we're talking to Corrali came from. They came from this Jewish culture that Abraham was a great dude because he was going to kill his son. Human sacrifice is the way to go. How do you know this? Christianity. God killed his son. Right? My mom's like, my favorite verse is, God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. Gave his only son means he killed him. And she's like, yeah, but he did it for us. If that's not a fucking cult member, what is, nigger? What the fuck? He did it for us. And like Thomas Paine said, that's good news. That's good news. And when I say N-word, I mean white people. For anyone who's listening. I'm from St. Louis. Things are like been turned on their head. Where black people and white people grew up together. Our friends, you're my nigga. All people, white, black, brown, but mostly white, they are real N-words who think we are. They think because we're poor, we are the real N-words. That's what makes them the real N-words. Like, why even use that word? Is there another word? More powerful, more controversial, more meaningful? You give it to me, huh? You give me the word fucking Christian. You are the fucking sellout. If anything, it's just a sellout. And the fruit of Crowley's shamanism and connection to these 18th century Kabbalists was the Book of Revelation and the total plan for a new world order with America as the sacrificial son of Britain. That it would all be played out on a world meta stage. And the son of Britain, America, the rebellious prodigal son, America, fought his parents and went off and became rich, did everything he wanted, will be sacrificed. People are like, oh, shut up. People have been saying this forever. America's invincible, blah, blah, blah. Okay, go on, N-word. We don't need you. So what? You're like everyone else. Go on. It's kind of how my wife is, you know? I'm like to her, like, you're just like everyone else. You think you're original? There's a fucking 3 or 7 billion of you fucking walking around, bumping into each other. You know? Not knowing what the fuck you're doing. And mad because anyone ever would claim that their efforts resulted in anything. You know, like, how dare you say you actually had that, you know? And it's crazy because it comes back kind of to what Maria, the goddess on the Missouri River, was saying. She really laid it out to me that day. Hey, this is about essence power, Joseph. She said, let's cut the fucking bullshit. Why you're here is there is a test of essence fucking power. She said, you know what I'm talking about? The magic to create reality. She said, believe it. It's not what you think. She said, believe it. You're going to have to lose everything to gain everything. She said, but you can do it because I did it. You're my mirror. You're my reflection. I was like, yeah, okay, if you say so. That was in 2011, and, you know, it's the privilege of my life. It didn't make me no money, but it is everything. I would, like, do anything for Maria. It'd be like an invisible person. You would do anything for your invisible friends. Would you kill your son? I mean, that's the first joke she made. I'm your goddess. You know why? Because I'm the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. I was like, that's true. She's like, not because I'm so beautiful, because that's how you see me, because that's your vibrational astrology that you wrote in the stars. She said, you know what happened? You're so powerful as a true self. You're God over yourself in this way. Right before you came here, Venus, into a physical body, anybody that's entering into a physical body, the true self sends the vibrations to the sun, moon, and stars. Your astrology. She said, no matter what, wherever you're born, no matter where you're born physically, when you're physically born off that nirvana plane, that essence machine elf plane, she said, believe it, the entire universe is you for a second. And it holds that in like a computer memory. And you can't be anybody but you. She asked me one time, what do you think about reincarnation? That was your very first question. And your ancestors answered you quite a way. What do you think about that? I said, it never made sense that I could be someone else. That don't make any fucking sense. Or why? Why would I want to? How could you? You can't be someone else. You can pretend you are, like she said. You can pretend you are. I said, you know what they told me. She said, not exactly. She said, I know what I've taught you. I said, yeah. I said, you've taught me. How do I test this? Is this a memory? Whose memory is this? And she said, what do they do? I said, they consult other people, and that's all they ever do. So she said, who tells them they were someone else? I said, some fucking guru, some fucking healer. And she said, are they meaning harm? I said, probably not. She said, I think you're right. She said, who's it up to know the truth? I said, me, motherfucker. Me. I mean, I was so fucking done with following someone else. We were getting straight in like 2011, December 2011. That's when she told me, you need to quit eating wheat. It's really fucking you up. It's like on this plane, as above, so below, it is holding back a lot. She actually told me, all those years of a Rastafarian, I was a, like, Old Testament law following Christian. I tried to follow the Sabbath. I followed the food. Not all of it, of course. It's 600 and something laws. But my point is, she said to me, you need to quit eating wheat. And I want you, Joseph, to eat the food of your ancestors from Ireland. I'm like, yeah, what, potatoes? And she's like, yeah, but besides that, what did they really become big and strong from eating? I said, fuck, I don't know. What do you believe? I was so disillusioned at the time. Like, you tell me, fuck, I don't know, we're in an illusion. If I say I read this in a book, you're going to say the book was an illusion. And she's like, but it is though, right? I'm not bothering you. I'm telling you the truth. I was like, and I thank you dearly, lady. Like, you wouldn't believe it. And she's like, so what's the food of Ireland? I said, I don't know. You tell me. And she said, the pig. The pig is what made your people, our people. She said, you know, as Queen of Atlantis, when I left Atlantis, I lived in Ireland for years as their queen. Me and Lou, I'm Irish as you'll ever be. And when I was looking at her, I was like, no, you are Ireland. This is before I knew she was Maria. You know, people don't understand that. Like the Missouri River goddess was telling me, I also was the Queen of Atlantis. And I did not understand how to understand this. She's saying to me, you can't be someone else. And she just, like in the same sentence, was like, and I'm someone else. You know, and looking at me like, Joe, come on, you're smart. You can figure this out. And I'm going, this, you know, I know she's not contradicting herself. So finally, and she would talk a lot back then, you know, in the beginning. She had to. Telepathically. And with her mouth sometimes. Like she said, she likes to smoke with her mouth, talk with her mind. Smoke with her mouth, talk with her mind. And she said to me, with telepathically, I know what you're thinking. Ask me. How can I be the Queen of Atlantis and the Missouri River goddess? I said, how? She said, I said I lived on Venus. How could I live on Earth? I said, I'm not sure. And she said, I just got done teaching you and asking you, can you be someone else? I said, there ain't no way. Like all my intuition and everything else says, no. No, I don't want to be, and I can't really be. No one can really be someone else. And she's like, and yet, 3 or 4 minutes later, I said to you, I am the Queen of Atlantis. She lived in a complete different time as me. I said, hey, lady, I mean, just straight up, I just figure you're so fucking magical. I don't question you. I don't know. I didn't know what you meant. I know I can't be someone else. But listen, I didn't even really know it was proper for me to question you like this. And she's like, Joe, quit being a slave. What do you mean it's not proper? Anyone that really wants to know the truth is going to say, like, don't bullshit me. What the fuck are you talking about? You know, she's the one that taught me to do this. I mean, she totally taught me. Like, who the fuck cares who it is on an astral plane or whatever? Tell me why you're here. What's your fucking message? What's the essence of this shit? Right? And she said, this is the truth. You're living in a holographic matrix. And I was like, huh? This was very early on. And she said, one of the rewards for my life that was given to me by my gods was a choice, a chance to switch lives with someone else. And I'm me in her body. And while I'm her in her body, she's me in my body. I go, damn, I never thought of that. She said, Some of what people are confusing with reincarnation is simply switching bodies with someone and experiencing what they experienced. You're not them. You're seeing and feeling what happened to them. I go, oh my God, that's the key to healing, isn't it? And she was like, exactly. She was like, see, you do have some psychic ability. I was like, damn, that makes sense though, you know? And she was like, but you're sweet that you were willing not to question me. She's like, but Joe, you have to what? I said, question everything. Everything. And back again to the beginning. Maria, I'm your goddess. I want to make this clear to people that this is them. This is you. You have a goddess and a god. Why? Because of your vibration. Not because you're good or bad, blah, blah, blah. She said to me, listen, why am I here? Because the vibration of the essence of your DNA, but she said, I just call it essence. Your essence, when there's no thought, beyond thought, vibrates. Its vibration is the beauty of Scorpio. I have been chosen by even your true self and the other gods as the representative of that. And she was like, do you understand? All of the sexual attraction was an attraction for your mother. She said, but only a wicked Jew would turn it around like Freud did. She said, I'm telling you the truth. I was like, whoa. That's when she wasn't looking at me, but that was the very first time she moved her hair back in her headdress. And she wouldn't look at me directly, but she let me look at her face for a while she was looking at the sun and looking at the river. And we were telepathically communicating. And it was crazy. And it's so funny because it was like seeing Jesus. In my dream, I had 3 dreams of Jesus. Each time I seen him, I felt the same way. Of this awe of a beauty awe. It's not sexual. It's not, oh my God, I want to fuck you. It's, oh my God, I've never felt such a beautiful vibration come off of a person. And every molecule's right. Everything. You're a beautiful person. I thought this about Jesus and Maria, the Missouri River goddess. I didn't know she was Maria. And I also, before I knew she was Maria, I knew she switched bodies with the Queen of Atlantis, Queen Kali Donna. Diana, Deanna, Linda, Luana, Luann. And she said to me, anything else people are talking about, this is for real, if you want to hear this about reincarnation, anything else people are talking about, past life regressions and that, she's like, they're having memories of the simulations they were in back on Venus. You live, check this out, if you're a regular personality, you've been the same person for maybe even 2 or 3 million years. So imagine how many relationships and other shit I've had. I don't know about sexual necessarily, but I've been shown completely I knew this person before I came here. We had a relationship of some kind, friendship. Maybe it was more. I mean, on Venus, it seems we're a lot. Like Maria said, say it correctly, son. Some people are a lot more casual about sex, and she's like, that's the left-hand path. So it's weird to look at it that way from the Venusian point of view, but very real that back on Venus, some people, but I was, shown in memories. I had to figure it out. Maria's famous line of, "You're smart, you'll figure it out." Oh, yeah, I'll figure it out. What the fuck is this? I lived it on another plane of existence, but I sure don't know where this fits in or how it did. And she's like, "You're smart, you'll figure it out." And I did, just like she said. Everything she ever said came true. Everything. And I think I want to, me and Maria, and I hope it makes sense to people what I'm saying about the true self. Um, the power of the essence, as she was saying, and the possibility. I mean, I would guarantee you that as sure as the sun is going to shine tomorrow, the sun is going to rise on some other plane. It might be hard to reach them. If you're one of our people, you have a teacher that might not be able to teach you as directly as Maria teaches me, because one reason she comes here to the simulation, she's one of the gods of the hologram. But there's billions of people back home, and, like she said, I really only have a few real devotees. And because that's a choice. But in a general way, I want to give people hope. There's a teacher like Maria teaches me that can teach you. But me and Maria, like she said, we actually kind of don't like people that don't need the mushrooms. Like, it's not that maybe we don't need them. She said we don't want to find out because the mushrooms are our friends. It's not like that. You view it like that. Like, we don't need these. I know, the very same way you don't need me. And it hurts. It's painful. Like, oh, I didn't know you cared so much. I know. I know you didn't know. And I know you don't care that much. And it's just a reality. Like she said, me and Maria live in like very small worlds where like this person we could be one with, they could increase our magic. And it's rare. I mean, it's just rare. I think, I know for a fact that people don't, and it hurts. It's painful for someone to be like, "Oh, it's not that rare. You're not that magic. I can do without you. Who cares? I don't even know you." It's painful for people like Maria and I because we know it's not possible with a lot of people. And it's also painful for us because we're like, if we're right, that person's going to put themselves through a lot of pain, and maybe they have to. But it's like a conscious thing of like, I love that person. I would love to protect them from that. But they literally, say to you, "But I don't need you. I barely know you. Like, we're friends, but I don't know what you're talking about. We're friends, but I don't know if I know you like you're saying." Or, it's wild. That's what I'm trying to say. It is wild. It's hard. But I'm not complaining. So, Aleister Crowley with his Kabbalist guides. And that's kind of how I was bouncing, as above, so below. See how they have their guides? You can have your guide. And your guides might tell you, quit listening to Joe. Like Maria said, that's how much we love you. We rather you not listen to us than be boring. I hate to say it. That's the only thing I fear. You can speak for yourself, but it's the only thing I fear. light, and you can't really fear being boring to someone else. What you're to fear is boredom yourself. And what Maria means by that, what I exactly mean, is not seeking the highest form of energy. Settling for something in the middle, lukewarm, is boredom, is boring. So when I say the only thing I fear is boredom, I'm saying the only thing I fear is for some reason I'd lose the drive to find the highest magic. And she said to me, Joe, what is that? I said, the greatest bliss. The eternal orgasm. Maria, she always liked the word bliss, and she told me I should call the YouTube channel What is Bliss? And then she told me, yeah, probably no one would ever see it or find it. So let's just put my name in it, And I didn't know if there's where the apostrophe. I mean, I'm dumb. I shouldn't even say that. But it's all real. It's all real. It's all real. And on a magical level, there was a little blonde lady, her father, and many other people that were all very serious, seeking their guides and their information. In 1927, a sort of meeting, my father was there, I was also there, and it was basically laid out. The British have created a religion that's kind of like hijack Christianity. And in the name of Jesus coming back, they're going to literally kill all of us. Just to, like she said, the Bible wasn't involved in the public's belief in World War II. It was completely esoteric and hidden. The public just thought it was I hate English, I hate Germans. It was just racial war. People are like, how's that racial? That's what people used to think of race. The Germans were one race, the British were another race, the French were one race. Now we think different. You have to fucking know the complexity of this shit. That's why words are so fucked up. And this is exactly why Hitler had to, kind of lead the Christians, because they were so dumb. But on this real and rather mystically coming together of, and this is really the first wave of true Druidic Norse European paganism coming back in our time. Do you realize that? The first wave and last. And they convened and had many conferences and meetings starting in 1927. By 1931, it was through data, facts, that they were going to, of course, attack and hijack the most productive, wealthiest, place in Europe. Or potential, right? And the potential for even more wealth and technology. And they, in 1931, many of these people started consulting their guides and their gods and everything to, what can we do? Is there anything we do? Should we just, sit in the lotus position and let them come cut our heads off? And no, they were very logical, and they were like, is there a logical, mathematical equation we can look at? And they tried, and they came up with one. We need this much production, these many men, if we're even to come close to winning, we're going to have to kill our enemy like, 4 or 5 or more to 1, which has never been done in a war in, history. Not a major war like this. And I'm not making excuses. Like Maria said, I never would know what, like she said, no one asked me, believe me. She said, I'm not saying I didn't have some people's respect, but overall, believe me, they didn't ask me. But that's why the work camps were constructed and made. Because you look at them and you're like, hold it, they put a lot of money into these work camps. They're like whole cities. Why? Because it was part of a mathematical equation that we need this much production to even come close to defending our country from this many invaders. Because the British had an empire. So they were uniting all their empire against Germany. And also paying off and blackmailing France, neutralizing Spain. Italy, Mussolini was not good. He was not a good person like Hitler. And like Maria said, I told Hitler, he is bound up and tied to failure. She said, I told Hitler in 1935, Mussolini, this rising star, will fail. No matter if you like him, I like him, no matter what, he will fail, and fail big. Everything Maria's ever showed me has come true. And I also disobey her. Not on purpose, but I see shit, it comes true, and I want it to keep coming true. And she tells me, but now you have to move on and shit like that. And I don't believe her. And she knows that I don't. She's like, I know you're a lion. The lion's going to fucking walk off in the night and do whatever it wants. She's like, but Joe, I have to say what I have to say because I love you. And it's weird. It's like I can't accept it, and then it just comes completely true. Because and I want to explain this. I'm living, and she said, this is why you work for me, on like some other frequency normally during the day, every day, that makes, it tunes me into like a different time, and like Maria's talking about right now. And I'm like, no, that can't, I don't think so. And then here's the person just like, no, exactly. I don't know. I'm not that smart. I'm like, but you are. They're like, but I'm not. But I'm like, but you will be. Like, maybe. As it is, so be it. As it is. This is what Maria tells me. Do you know this? As it is, so shall be it. Meaning, as it is, as you've seen it, it will be one day. It's not fake, what you've seen. It's real. Because what you feel is real. All right, so in the spirit, let's just have all those of the right-hand path. What's that mean? You wanted to be true to vows and shit. You wanted to keep the rules because they make sense. That you wanted the best for yourself. You had a family. See, your whole temptation is to look down on people who are authentically from the left-hand path, who are like, I don't really see myself having a family. I don't, I've had sex with several people or more people than I can count because it didn't really mean that much to me. And I never really loved any of those people very much. And you know what I mean? This whole of like, I never really wanted to make a vow to anyone. The rules to a left path person. They're like, man, the rules are for people who keep the rules. I know, socially what it means. Left-hand people are very, very, very smart. And most like kind of dumb bumpkin, meathead people are from the right-hand path. They're like, God, country, family, Jesus is coming back. Yep, go to church on a Sunday. We repent. Repent of what? We'll jack it off all week. Well, what's wrong with that? Jesus told us you can't. Oh, okay. Didn't he also tell you can't be a glutton? Didn't he also tell you not to drink? Oh, okay. See, I'm from the right-hand path, but I'm not a hypocrite. See, the test for the right-hand path people who do make vows is I was wrong. Some parts I was right. But the willingness not to condemn yourself for not being perfect to somebody else's path. The right-hand path, left-hand path are neither one of any individual's path. The only path out of here is your path, matter if you're right or left-handed, or from either attitude. They're both an attitude, you understand that? Like most sex workers, strippers, and stuff like that are left-hand path people. They're just not really spiritualizing everything, and at the same time they're so relaxed in their own spirituality that it doesn't really faze them. You talk to somebody who's like 40 years old and they're like, yeah, I kind of got into drugs, became a stripper, and da-da-da. And you see, like, it doesn't faze you at all. Like, it's just, you're still that person. You just got it together now better. Even I knew this one stripper girl. She was like, yeah, I was married twice while I was stripping. He liked it, or at least he said he did. He liked the money. You know what I mean? There's just a whole different attitude towards life with these people. And like Maria said, to be left-handed and from the left-hand path really makes you cold as motherfucking ice, but don't mean it doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean you can't also be hot as fire. She's like, that's what makes the world go round, isn't it? That the millions of varieties and differences between individuals. And she's like, you understand that, Joseph? There's one path out of here. What is it? I said, remember, recover, return. She was like, right. Now you got it. Now we're starting to talk. And listen, for the people who are really trying hard and, taking in what we're saying and trying to put it into your life, just know you only know what you really know, and you'd be better off to get rid of things that you don't really know. Right? And just know that we're going in real time down the magical path. We're not going in a path of we're going to, have a 6-week course that you can sign up for $500 where, I teach the exact same things that everybody else teaches. But I say at the end, you can go into meditation and view shit from somewhere else. Well, whatever. Weren't we saying that the whole time? I mean, really, this is something new. The government developed it. I know, that's what's wrong. Who developed shamanism? And I know, believe me, I know every shtick and spiel of the New Age people is like, there's another way around. There's another way there than mushrooms. There's another way there than mushrooms. Mushrooms don't work for me. Blah, blah, blah. And yet the people that say this to me, I've said to them, we're in the real world. Come to my house. Do this ritual with me. And they're too afraid. But they're not afraid to say that nature and the thing that's beyond their own mind. I mean, some people are honest. I mean, people who are out there who know that Okay, I'm sorry. I was gonna say something. Um, well, our people we love, we just send you like a wave, an ocean wave of vril, which is a waterfall under the sun with the butterflies, the palm trees, the crystal clear blue water, the white sand, and all the flowers, all the animals, all the trees, right? That's vril. What are we talking about? The eternal orgasm. Let me tell you, for real, no doubt, when your Leo, be the doe, dies, life is been over for a long time. That's your last clue. And listen, because of the black magicians, because your lack of knowledge of who's against you, you are in a terrible, nightmarish world. Any one of us could drive down the street, get in a car accident, be stuck in a wheelchair or a paralyzed bed for the rest of our lives, brain dead, slobbering on ourselves. You ever read the book, The Butterfly and the Diving Bell? You know, a famous editor of Vogue magazine was in a car accident, and he was fully conscious, full brain activity. He could only blink one eye. He could not speak. He could see out of his eyes. He could not move anything on his entire body except for one eyelid, one blink. He could not move anything else on his entire body. It's called locked-in syndrome, where someone is totally conscious as they were right before the accident, but their body is, for all intents and purposes, a prison, and no one can hear them. And let me have someone tell me about the God they believe in, and where is he? Where is it? Why won't Source help him? This is many people. At the time this book was being written, there was I think 6 other people in the world that were being held, in these medical institutions because they had locked-in syndrome. Full brain activity, full physical paralysis, whatever. Paralysis. Sorry, mother. Great book. Everyone should read it. Absolutely great book. But believe it or not, that's kind of how the true self is in the Matrix. That's why you're losing. I'm losing too. That's Lou singing. And try as hard as you can. But make sure it's at the exact thing that makes you happiest in the long run. The long, long run. I know people who tried so hard as parents, and I had to tell them, hey, listen, your youngest kid is like 16 years old. You have no children and no more. My kids. Like, listen, dude, your youngest kid has been a man for 3 years. Or been a woman for 2-3 years. And you see the kids and my kid told me this, and okay, he might live in your house. He's not a kid. He wants to fuck women. And it's horrible. The American family sucks. It sucks. So fake. So dumb. So fucking stupid. The whole ritual is like, okay, you grow up, you get good grades, and you go to college. Good little slave. Go to your job program. You graduate from college. And then the college put you in a job, and you get a dumb fucking whore that's dedicated to your dumb, boring ass, and you get into Corey League and being boring and condemning other people. What are they, swingers? And then you get old and boring and die. and you're like 7 years old, like, did you see the Cardinals won? Like, all my life I've been cheering for the Cardinals. And like, wow, lady, you like fucking bats and, hitting a ball, chasing a ball around that much? Like, what's the thing here? I never could understand it. Um, you know, just throw out there. My first girlfriend, who I love so much, but then I kind of started to hate her. And I shouldn't have, but I did because, and one of the things I started to hate about her was my wife that I'm married to now. When I met her, she is just absolutely foreign to sports. Like everything, like she's like, oh my god, I've never watched a football game in my life. That's gross. She's like, I've never been to a sporting event, a baseball game. Or she's like, maybe my parents might have took me once. I mean, she wouldn't have known who was on the teams if a gun was to her head, And she hated it. And that was a great contrast to my other girlfriend that was like trying to like it. She told me one time, let's buy hockey tickets. I think I like hockey. I go, hey, listen. I was a kid once. I loved hockey. I said, hockey's fucking boring. I said, but I'll take you. I said, no one who likes hockey says, I think I like hockey. I go, that means you're trying at 20 years old to figure out what sports you like. And she's like, yeah, you're right. I go, because you don't really like it. And she's like, I like the atmosphere. I like something about it, something about the story of the game. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I was way more into sports than her, but I didn't believe her that she really liked it. And several times she bought us tickets to like the baseball game, and I was like, wow, this looks so cool when we're inside there. And by like the third inning, I'm like, this is fucking boring. I kind of don't like these people around me. Then by like the seventh, eighth inning, I was like, I fucking hate these people. Shut the fuck up about your fucking team. I mean, I couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. And live and let live. I'm a true pagan. I'm a true Celtic, Druidic pagan. And so what should we call this as we impart this energy to you to heal your body, to calm your mind, and listen, to give life and health back to the organs and to tune them. Tune your organs right now in HEAL to your organs to strengthen and make them real. And may they never turn to ice again, right? And may they never melt to water and nothing. You know what I'm saying? The center, the middle, your organs, your vibration. And let us all say together, man, if there's one thing we should agree on, is the Christians shouldn't have slaughtered and killed our ancestors, but it's a logical conclusion from their religion. A logical conclusion you're going to come to every single time when you say God killed his own son is you're going to get the church killing people. It's logic. And, may we never forget what they did to our ancestors. Maybe we did other things, but we know this. We know one thing: Christianity took over all of Europe at the price of our ancestors' blood, their children's blood, and the most horrific deaths ever. And in the energy that still resides is what we release this healing, this recreation, right? We can recreate because you created your soul. Who created your essence? No one. You're eternal. You've always been here. Who created your mind that you think was? What are you? I'm my mind. Where are you? I'm in my head. Because you're your mind. What are you? I'm thought. I'm my own thoughts is what I am. And where are you getting those thoughts? From I don't know. My memory, which is my knowledge. My knowledge comes from experience, which is actually my memory now. I am thought and memory in this matrix. Outside of this matrix, I am essence energy that will always be. But right now, I'm in a game. And let me tell you, you absolutely will never, ever get out of here siding with those who put to death those who lived by live and let live.
Yeah. In the shadows where whispers collide, I walked with a grace that you couldn't abide. Silken schemes wrapped tight in my hand, a spirit so bold they won't understand. Glimmers of power arise from the dust, but I'm just a woman in my heart I must trust. Who am I when the light starts to fade? A figure of darkness and legends displayed. They'll judge from the throne, but they can't see my play. In a kingdom of hearts where I long to be free. Spoke of my love like a flame in the night. Fiery passion, fear turn into fright. Twisted tail spun tight like a vine. A queen in my realm, yet they crossed each line. Bearing the weight of a crown forged in lies. Looming shadows hide the truth in my eyes. Who am I when the light starts to fade? A figure of darkness and legends displayed. They'll judge from the throne, but they can't see my play. In a kingdom of hearts where I long to be free. Its thorns and its pride, for I am Jahzebel, and I won't run or hide. And legends display. They'll judge from the throne, but they can't see my play. In a kingdom of hearts where I long to be free. So remember my tale, its thorns and its pride, for I am Jahzebel, and I won't run or hide.